Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a Zerg vs Protoss analysis. This is a game that I played earlier today. It's a Zerg vs Protoss on the map, I believe it's called Newkirk City. And it might be important to note that this is the Heart of the Swarm beta, as you might have already noticed from the video title. But yeah, it's going to be a Zerg vs Protoss. My opponent is going to be none other than ReWinD, who was actually, I believe he was ranked 32 Grandmaster when we played this for Zerg vs Protoss. And I'm going to talk about the things that I was thinking about while playing this game. And of course, we are going to talk about the mistakes that I made, about the good things that I did, and about, you know, I did quite a bunch of mistakes actually this game. So since this is a really high level play in the Heart of the Swarm beta, I'm really not allowed to make these kinds of mistakes that I will make in this game. So hopefully we can both learn a little bit from this. I know there are a lot of players out there that are struggling with the like StarCraft II mindset and knowing what to do at what point. That might sound a little bit fake, but if you are actually a StarCraft II player, it's really hard to decide at what point you want to make drones and what point you want to be moving out, and how to react in certain situations. So hopefully this kinds of videos will actually help you out to do such a thing. As you already noticed, since it's the Heart of the Swarm beta, I decided to scout early and see what is going on. Right now in Heart of the Swarm beta, we see two things happening in Zerg vs Protoss. The Protoss player either goes for a Nexus first, or they go for a Gateway expand. In either two situations, the hatchery first is a better option. Right now I'm actually scouting, I'm actually checking out if there's a forge down, and I see, nope, once again no forge. It looks like no Heart of the Swarm player is opting to go for a forge expand, simply because it's apparently inferior and nobody's doing it. So what I'm going to do is actually, since I notice it's a Nexus first, and I know there's not going to be any kind of cannon play early on, I can simply go for a really early third hatchery. So I'm already sending a drone to my third base, and I'm actually going to throw down a hatchery at the 3-minute and 10-second mark or something like that. Ridiculously early. I'm actually getting this one before even starting my spawning pool. Now, the reason why I did this is because I saw a Nexus first. If I didn't see a Nexus first, I simply would have been having a hatchery first, and I would have been pretty damn fine anyway. So here we go, I'm going to follow it up with a spawning pool. Of course, I want to have my queens out as early as I can, which will give me the biggest advantage, because of course, queens give larvae, and larvae create units. So right now, flying in my overlord, checking out what is going on, and I notice there's no gases being taken whatsoever. So at this point, I feel relatively safe. I know his probe went back to the other side of the map, and even if he is cannoning my third base right now, it wouldn't be the biggest loss whatsoever, because when you think about it, cannons are pretty expensive as well, and you know, there's really no reason why you would be doing that, because it will be delaying his stack so much. So if he would be cannoning my third base right now, I will simply either let it finish or cancel it, not the biggest of deals, and I will have to note that all his stack, like everything that he might be able to do, will be delayed significantly, or his economy will be really delayed, but none of that is going on in this game whatsoever. So I'm going to start double queening, going to check out what is going on by his Nexus, and I notice there's nothing weird going on right there. His cannon only just now finished. I'm actually going to park my first overlord right behind his mineral line, and I'm going to use my second overlord right behind his main base to check out what is going on. Just in anticipation of being suicided or whatever I decide to do with it. So here we go. I'm going to create 4 Zerglings just in case. Going to park those mostly at the watchtower and at his front of his base to see any leaving units. This is actually really important. A lot of people actually underestimate the importance of it, or actually overestimate it. So what you will sometimes see is that there's no scouting whatsoever for the Zerg player, or that they make like 10 Zerglings to scout the front of their base, which is both really unnecessary and not like something you should be doing. So what I'm going to do, leave 1 Zergling at the watchtower and just use the other 3 to start scouting around. And since it's the 6-minute mark, I'm going to start taking double gas geysers, because gas geysers are awesome in Zerg vs Protoss around the 6-minute mark, because, you know, that just counters pretty much everything. So there we go. I realized that there's no gas being taken, but oh, actually I do realize there's a gas being taken right now by him. And I noticed that at that point I can basically realize, or I can basically say that there's not gonna be something like a 7 or 8 gate kind of pressure, because most 7 and 8 gates are being done on about 2 gas geysers, sometimes 3, but at this point the timing of his gas geyser is a little bit weird, so I'm not gonna be thinking about really early gateway pressure anymore. However, at at this point, I really don't know what he's up to. I can't scout the Fort Gas guys, so I don't know if that one is up or not. I can't really scout his front base because there's a Stalker out most likely and there's a Zealot out as well. So what I should be doing at this point in time is actually having both the watchtowers and flying in one Overlord right about now around the 7 or 7.5 minute mark. Because I don't know anything that he is doing right now. I'm happily droning up. I'm doing really greedy droning right now, even though I don't know what is going on. And to be honest, this is going to bite me in the ass quite hard. If I would have flown in an Overlord around the 7 minute mark, I would have been in time to start creating a lot of units to do the push that is gonna come any second right now. And I don't know, it's actually gonna come in a little bit. But right now, I'm actually making a few Overlords. I even made a macro hatchery, getting all my gases up. Everything is going happy. Happily, like, properly and whatnot, but right now I don't know anything. I don't have the watchtowers, and after this game I was actually slapping myself. I was like, why didn't you take the watchtowers? There's absolutely no reason why I wasn't having them. So here we go, I'm actually only just now taking them, and I'm checking and I see a sentry moving out right there, so I'm like, oh shit, I need to start creating units. So there we go, 9 roaches on the production tab right now, but he's already moving into my third base, and I decide my roaches are too late. I really can't do anything against this, so I better just get out of there instead of like losing all my army and like maybe losing the game straight up. So what I'm gonna do, just evacuate the base and make all the units at home. Maybe try and catch him off guard when he's moving back, but I don't even know if that is possible. But right now I'm oversaturating my natural quite hard. So what I'm gonna do is take both the gas guys in my main base right now as well, and I'm also going to start taking the third base, or well, the other third base I should say. So at this point, I can basically know there's no third base for him whatsoever. I can also realize that he has no tech up whatsoever. Or he might be able to have some tech up at this point in time. But up until this point, I can realize there's nothing going on because he had a lot of sentries out. He had a lot of stuff out anyway, so at this point, I can only really assume he's gonna go and try for a third base or follow it up with a 2 base all-in, obviously. So I need to analyze which of the two it's gonna be. And I realized that in either two cases, I should, if he's going for a third base, I should be applying a lot of pressure to try and cancel that third base. And if he is gonna go for a push right now, I should also note there's most likely not gonna be any kind of Colossus out early. So in this case, I'm going to decide for Hydralisk, because Hydralisk in Heart of the Storm are really good, and I should be able to do a lot of damage with them as long as there are no Colossus out, which is something that doesn't really happen all that much in Heart of the Storm. So here we go. I actually realized there's a third base out right now. I saw that there still was no tech units with this army composition, so I'm starting to worry a little bit, so probably going to start a few overseers right now in case of Dark Templars. Right now Dark Templars are relatively cheap to get. It's still quite a big investment, but it's, you know, it's a little bit hard to get. But what I'm gonna do, since he's going for his own third base, I decide to actually take my fourth base once again as well, and I'm gonna start the Roach or the Hydralisk speed upgrade, which is one of the upgrades that I got in the Heart of the Swarm side of things. And I'm also going to actually drone up my third base, my newly acquired third base. And at this point, I feel relatively safe. Going to start a bunch of overseers to see what's going on. I also want to start double upgrading, because upgrades are clue in any kind of Zerg matchup, really. But in Zerg vs Protoss, they are really important as well. And right now, I noticed there's 2 Zealots pushing into my third base, or my fourth base, I should say, right now. And I really have to clean those up. And it also indicates to me there must be a proxy pylon somewhere out on the map. However, he's also pushing with his main army, so I need to check if there's a proxy pylon somewhere up that map, and I actually do manage to find that one. So I'm gonna leave 1 Zergling, or 2 Zerglings I believe, to fight off that 1 pylon, and I'm going to move the rest of my army back, because I need to hold that main base, or that third base. If I lose that third base, that would be a really big loss, because he has his third base up right now, and I know that will be really hard to hold. So what I'm going to do is actually start creating a lot of Roach Hydralisk, since I already have, or a lot of Hydralisk Zergling I should say. I do this because I already have a lot of roaches out and I don't really need any more of those. I'm going to need a lot of Zerglings and Hydralisk to deal a lot of damage. So there we go, it looks like he actually did manage to move back. Oh, nope. I was actually even thinking that now watching the replay. I actually thought he was moving back in the game as well. But he is still parking his big ass army over there. But right now he is giving me enough time to reinforce and to make a big army. However, I also realized there are Dark Templars out at this point in the game. So I'm going to try and do my best to not let him kill any of my drones or my fort base. Going to actually snipe off this little pylon right here, and I realize there's a big ass push coming right now at the top of the base. You can actually see him moving across the minimap. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he is pushing into my fort base right now. So I'm actually going to be trading bases since I have a third base myself, and since it's 4 base versus 3 base. If I manage to kill this base, I should be relatively fine, but I forgot about this new ability that the Mothership Core has, and it's actually mass recalling his army to the Nexus. But right now he doesn't have the highest stack army at all, so I do manage to do a lot of damage. He's using one of the abilities of the Mothership Core as well to actually use the Nexus as one big cannon. But right now I'm actually going to decide to target fire the Nexus. Nexuses die pretty damn fast, and I decide to target it down and just move back while reinforcing a big army. At first I was actually trying to get a Nidus network up and get a lot of spine crawlers in my main base in case he decided to push into my natural as well and try and kill off all those bases. But since he decided to push back, I decided to cancel those spine crawlers once again and just try and make the best of it. So here I do manage to get a nice round on 1 Immortal and on 1 Sentry, but I'm overextending here quite a lot actually. Going to try and do as much damage as I can. Going to snipe off a bunch of pylons as well as a bunch of probes, but right now I really should be moving back. What I do right here is actually scouting for a third base. I check it and I see it's not up. So what I'm going to do is actually move up his ramp, and that's a big mistake I'm making once again. Well, maybe it's not the biggest mistake, but you know, this is not necessary at all. I should maybe just go in there, go for the kill, and then move back instantly. But what I'm doing is a little bit too much, and he has a bigger army up once again. He's blinking forward. He has a lot of Dark Templars out as well. And at this point, he's going to be chasing me with an army that is much faster than mine, and I'm losing a lot of units that shouldn't have been necessary whatsoever. However, I'm still pretty damn far ahead in the supply tab. And the supply and the amount of units that I simply have. And I do manage to kill off all the Dark Templar harassment that he has. So I'm feeling relatively safe right now. I have my fort base up once again. I have my upgrades pretty damn solid. But at this point, I have to make a note once again. Right now, I managed to kill off his fort. And I did manage to kill off his cybernetics core. So what will he be able to warp in? Well, he will be able to make Immortals, obviously. He won't be able to make any kind of Stalkers. So what is he going to warp in? Well, most likely only going to be Immortals and a lot of Dark Templars. Probably going to morph those Dark Templars into Archons, because Archons are really fucking good. And I'm worrying right now a little tiny bit because like, if I make too many Zerglings, the Archons will simply just eat my army. But I noticed the fourth base, or the third base rather, is going down for him right now. And I have to make the decision if I allow it to do him, to let him take that fourth base or not. I actually decide to not allow that fourth base, or third base rather. And go for the offensive once again. I managed to get pretty lucky right here by sniping off 4 Dark Templars that were on the way right now. But since I was able to kill his Cybernetics core as well as his upgrade, his army shouldn't be incredibly strong. So what I'm going to do is try and get the best engagement that I have. I'm actually going to put these roaches in front of my army, and I don't want to engage with my Zerglings. Here we go, I'm going to engage this big ass army. I'm a little bit indecisive with my Zerglings, but I do realize there's not too many Archons out. So I decide to push in this army, and here we go. I'm actually going to push up this ramp. I do realize my army is lots bigger than his. I also have a lot more DPS in his army than in my army than he has. And he actually does manage to kill off both of my overseers, which means Dark Templars will become incredibly effective versus the army that I have. Of course, Dark Templars do a lot of damage, but I also have more overseers morphing in right now. Going to set one elite squad of units to his third base to actually snipe that one off. And I'm not going to really pay attention to that, but if you take a look at the minimap right now, oh, there we go, I'm actually taking a sneak peek at it, but as you take a look right there, I'm actually sniping off that base, going to try my best to kill off as much as I can, and at this point, I pretty much know that I will be able to win this game if I just continue to play like this, even though I lost my third base early on. So here we go, I'm actually going to try snipe off a bunch of probes right here as well, and he doesn't GG out of the game. So once again, this guy was a high Grandmaster level player. I want to thank you guys all for watching this. Please hit the like and favorite button if you enjoyed the video, as well as subscribe if you want to see more. And I see you next time. Have an awesome day, guys. Bye!